I'm not a fan of sporting teams trying to go to the business world and explain how everything in business is just the same as sport. I never have been. But this time, I think there's something that connects really, really well. In the heart of England, there's a 330-acre complex for English national soccer. The English national soccer's training ground. It's got 40 playing fields. It cost £100 million to build, and it's even got a Hilton hotel. Ben Darwin says that the English soccer team, if they can have any chance of winning, having not won the World Cup in the past 50 years, need to burn all of that to the ground, start again, and completely change their strategy. Ben Darwin owns a firm called Gainline Analytics and analyses international and elite sporting teams to determine what is the probability that they will succeed. He's had such success as to pick the Western Bulldogs in the AFL competition when they were at the beginning of the season a 500-1 outsider. In any case, Ben says that skill is greatly overrated in sports teams, and instead one should be focusing on what he calls the Teamwork Index, or TWI. TWI is the combined time that a team has spent together, and it's vastly underrated. Darwin says that his theory is that the Moneyball approach, which was made famous in the Moneyball movie, which starred Brad Pitt as Billy Beane, who led the Oakland A's to success based upon his picking skillful players that were underpriced in the market, that has compounded and spiraled over time, so much so that now skill is vastly overrated, and this teamwork index is critical to success. So getting people to spend more and more time together rather than just having a group of superstars who are autonomous and not really working as a group. This is the graph from Teamwork Index that I love the most. If you look at it, it's the English Premier League Teamwork Index versus average player salary. It's comparing two graphs where as Teamwork Index goes down in red, the weekly salary is going up. And that's demonstrating what he's saying, which is we have very highly paid players who are very skilled, but they're not working together effectively. And it is the working together effectively, the teamwork, the cooperation, the understanding of how the interpersonal relationships and actions work that makes the biggest difference to success. So that national stadium, the £100 million stadium, his advice to the heads of English football is that you need to burn it all to the ground and start again. And so how does that align with business? Well, in business we use core values. When we measure core values and we look at individuals' alignment with the rest of the team's core values, what we're really saying is how closely does each individual align with the top 5 or 7 behavioural traits that we find the most important. That leads to greater teamwork because everyone is effectively working in the same team dynamic. Everyone has the same level of behavioural priority. Everybody says that managing people is hard, but I put it to you, it's not that hard. Managing people is really 2 things that you've got to do well. You've got to get them aligned with the rest of the team's behavioural qualities or the behavioural traits that the rest of the team values, our core values. And number 2 is productivity, which is ensuring that they're productive around the things that matter most to that role. I'm going to put the article from the AFR in the more section below. Feel free to click through and read it. Great article about Ben Darwin and the work he's doing with Gainline Analytics. Have a look.
Where are you today? Do you know your way?
All negative vibrations are toxic.
Pick up your head and look around.
Dan Pink wrote a book called Drive, and in it he spoke about the 3 key things that people need for motivation. The first is autonomy, and that is the ability to be in control of our own lives, or to direct our own lives. The second is mastery, and mastery is the urge to get better and better at something that matters. And the third is purpose, and purpose is the yearning to contribute to something that is greater than ourselves. But today I want to focus on mastery. Mastery and the 3 laws in particular of mastery. Mastery begins with flow, and flow is a specific sense of our challenges, the challenges that we're faced with, matching our abilities. And it's said that when one gets into this state of flow, that you can lose track of time. But flow doesn't necessarily equate to mastery. You can get to flow and never work towards or achieve mastery. As Daniel Pink says in his book, you and I might achieve flow tomorrow morning, yet mastery can take months and years and perhaps even decades to achieve.
Today, do you know your
The 3 laws of mastery are: number 1, mastery is pain. Number 2, mastery is a mindset. And number 3, mastery is an asymptote. Let's start with mastery is pain. To master something is incredibly difficult. So it takes a lot of passion and perseverance to get to a point of mastery, or to get close to mastery. And that's what he describes as grit. So you must have the grit and the resilience to get through all of the challenges that you'll face on the way to getting close to mastery. That means that talent takes a back seat to perseverance and passion. Mastery is a mindset. There are 2 types of people, those with a fixed mindset and those with a growth mindset. Those with a fixed mindset believe that their talent and intelligence and abilities will see them through most situations, and that all they need to do to get through and to be successful is to rely on their talent and their skill. But those with a growth mindset know that talent and skill are only just the beginning, and that is the foundation, and at all times one must work hard in learning and growing to be successful. And it is the growth mindset that aligns with the outcomes of mastery. So think about a sports player. A sports player may have great talent and skill when they're very young, but to get to mastery of their sport, it takes many, many, many years. Think about an artist, a great artist. When they're 25, they might be producing some great work, but what would be different when they're 65? Would they still be producing great work? And would they have mastered it? Would they have gotten closer to mastery? And the third is that mastery is an asymptote. And that means, that is an algebra phrase, and that means that it is a line approaching a curve that never ends. That means that mastery can never be achieved. You are always on the journey to mastery, and one will not get to the point. And one will also understand that to get to mastery is a goal that is unachievable, and that's why it's so incredibly frustrating. But the desire to get to mastery is something in humans that we can't ignore. We love the challenge of becoming better and better and better at something. So Pink says, why aspire to something in mastery that you can never achieve? And that is exactly the point. Mastery attracts precisely because mastery eludes. I first started working on building great businesses back in 2001 when I came across this book, Mastering the Rockefeller Habits by Verne Harnish, of which now version 2 has been released in 2014 called Scaling Up. And that really spoke about what are the elements that you need to build a truly great company. Something that I still connect with to this day and clearly work with every day. And that's where my allure comes from. This idea that you can master the art of building a great company, and it is the allure of doing that that compels me every day, day in, day out.